Thanks for listening to me today. I'm going to talk about automation. I wish I could automate my travel, yet I had to take it in person. But thanks for the invite. We used to work together, actually. But before we go into that detail, how we met and what this is all about, the future of work management and automation, I will just give you the agenda. So I'm going to do the intro. Workflow automation at scale. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm running strategic projects. One of our biggest strategic projects is managing hundreds of millions of operations in Make. You can guess how many million operations we manage in my team across Salonis. What do you guess? Is it like 10 million, 100, 200, 500? Who's for 10? Who's for 100? Who's for 200 million? Who's for 500? Okay, the 200 ones are right. Okay, so across Salonis and in our team, and I can show later on, we're managing 125 million operations in just one organization, plus all the other, let's not call it shadow IT organizations, but we all know this problem, right? So when it comes to automation at scale, I will show you today some internal insights from what we're rolling out every day there. And also we're gonna explore it, of course, hands-on. I don't like PowerPoint, but for transporting some knowledge, it's a great medium. Then we're gonna, of course, share these resources so you can really use them because you're coming here and I want to give you something back. And then, of course, saying thank you, and then we can do the refreshments and so. Okay, cool. So just really keeping it short. I like business, I'm a bit nerdy, I like to cook. If you ever come to near Frankfurt, happy to be my guests. I'm Rotarian and I really like working social on the weekends, doing sports, business leader. Got my first team when I was like 23. I like strategy, but still coding and things like that. I wish I could code more, but I don't have the time. If you need something, there's my link, add me on LinkedIn, drop me a call, whatever. So let's go to Make because you're here for Make on Monday. We're running around 100,000 active organizations and around 180 countries. We're super diverse. When I see sometimes the use case we're having in Brazil, up to the use cases Thomas and his team is driving, Omnitas, it's so diverse what we're doing in terms of digital transformation. It's just amazing to see. We're having 1,600 connectors. It's a standard slide. I didn't update it this morning. I forgot it. And we're backed by Salonis, and you get some cool logos up there. So who are key competitors? If you didn't know us, maybe now you can position us better. We, of course, like to stay in the middle. We can serve all of these purposes. And we can definitely scale, and that's what we will show you. But we are operating in the industry between code, low, and no code. Yes, you can use coding and Make. You can go super low code, and you can go no code. And I forgot the Monday logo on it. I'm sorry. Maybe I did it on purpose so you laugh. How to scale with Make on Monday? That's the key question, right? So whenever you think about an integration, 10 years back, we were like, okay, I need to go on Fiverr or I have to hire a developer and I need to build that. And I'm not sure if it's just an integration or process, etc., etc. Nowadays, you think, hey, if it ends up there, I could send it there and then I could notify him and we could, with just the click of a button, trigger this. And if you want to code this, and if you have ever coded in your life, it's hard to do this. It will be so buggy. It will take a lot of testing till it finally works. But if you can do that visually, and if you can do that in an hour, I will show you an AI automation we did in 1 hour that replaces ChatGPT's front end, and you can all roll that out. And this is how you can really scale processes. And of course, you can do also data migrations to Monday. And I will go really hands-on now and show you some examples, what you can do to really scale automations. So let's say we have this automation, and it's just about data migration. You can use theoretically Make for data migration. But you can do this only because it has all available API endpoints for Monday. Plus, it gives you 18 different scenarios, theoretically, how you could place the data via the graph query. And you have also, of course, theoretically speaking, you can move, I know your team did that a lot of times, data from US to EU. So now the fast querying and scale up, let's go a bit to our customers. We have like here, Gian, who I'm gonna meet next week. They're growing so fast because they're integrating with Make. They can serve their whole infrastructure, and they are basically taking back rental cars at an airport, and they can do that fully automatically by using Make. Plus, maybe you've seen Andreas. He's like our biggest champion we have, so of course always using him. If you know Finn, they are even using more operations than we do. So they're using around 400 million, something like this. It's just crazy. They automated everything. And by everything, I mean everything. If they are getting a CSV file from one of their car vendors, and there's one thing missing, they automatically send an email back. And Lucia told me once, well, they're telling me that we write so nice emails. And she said to them, we never wrote you an email by human, it's just fully automated. We're like, so they automated the whole communication towards 150 vendors, just fully on Make. So now, how do they do this? When do they decide how to use low and no code and when to use coding, and how do we really scale operations? So the first one is you always have to choose between complexity. If it goes really complex and you want to integrate backend systems, you want to have maybe message queues, etc., I'm not going to go more technical. You should maybe think about pro code. But if you remember the case, what I just told you, if this goes there, gets an email notification, the complexity is quite low. If the volume, and we're talking 1,000 per month to 50,000 per hour, hey, if you want to update 50,000 records an hour on Monday, I'm not sure if Make is the right tool, to be honest. But if you're talking about around 1,000 or even more, easy to use, low no code. If you know how your process is, you could theoretically code the process. But if you don't know, and a lot of times in business, agility and change is faster than actually the rollout of this whole program. So now the third-party integration is one of the key things why to use marketplaces from Monday or Make if you want to have third-party integrations. And going there with low and no code is definitely the right choice. And for me, the most important thing is change. If we are doing digital transformation, we will realize along the way that we have to change so often because we can never cover the full scope. Okay, so now who should automate what? Let's go short into a matrix we're running. Therefore, we have so-called citizen developers. If it's not critical, if it's medium, they can just develop it. If it's super critical, please request development. We have so-called business agility managers. They are the guys that running automations inside teams. They can develop nearly everything beside if it's business critical. And we have, of course, developers. So this is how you can integrate maybe Monday with Make into your infrastructure. It can go even super complex, and you can even plug in, we call this thing data store, but you could also replace it with some kind of SQL, etc., etc. Enough of PowerPoint, okay, let's switch over. I brought you some use cases. You can choose what you want to see. Who's up for ChatGPT replacement? Okay, not so many ChatGPT anymore. Good, I like it. How to extract data out of an email and send an automated response? Okay, a bit more. Yeah, the others are probably waiting. I should have said everything first. Okay, I'm gonna ask. Okay. That's my 3 in the morning Frankfurt thing. I'm sorry about that. And the other one is basically how you can do PQA enrichment. So how you can get data from the internet and send it back to a Google Sheet, but you could replace the Google Sheet with Monday.com. We can do all of these cases, but in terms of time, I want to know. So who want to see the ChatGPT replacement? Okay. Okay. Who wants to see the Nordic scale-up replacement? Sorry. Who wants to see the auto-enrichment of data via an automation? That's way more. Okay, it's already the most people. Good. Then we definitely go for the second one. So let's say we have a list here. And this list could, of course, be in Monday, but for the sake of the demo purpose, I always have it in Google Sheets, so I'm going to use Google Sheets. Public list from a convention. A lot of names you probably know from the Nordics. So let's say we want to enrich this kind of data. What we had there in the past was a lot of hours by AEs and BDRs spent on going on their website, analyzing what's the value proposition, how do they do business, etc., etc. And you could just use Make for that. You don't need any of the other things. So let's just run it. If I don't make any mistake resetting it, it should work. Let's see. So what it does, it takes the first domain, goes on the website, from the website extracts data, basically cleans the HTML code out of it, sends it to ChatGPT to ask, hey, by the way, what did we just see on the website? And then sends all of the data back to Google Sheet. No more finding out manually what's the value proposition. For giving salespeople a little brief, yeah, you can have it afterwards. Yeah. And it's kind of nice, you know? It's like they're telling me automatically which industry. I was lagging this information, which industry. And if I want to filter and go with a campaign for this industry, of course, I think you can imagine you could do that in Monday. Let's do the first case. Okay, so this is our ChatGPT replacement. What's the key issue by using ChatGPT in Enterprise? You don't know who sent what, when to ChatGPT and got what answer back. That's a big problem. Yeah? So because you want to track it, you want to have what comes in and what goes out in a database. And we're going to adjust it a bit for the easiness to use. We did not yet do that for demoing it. So how does it work? What do you want to ask ChatGPT? Okay, what is Monday.com? Okay, there we go. I'm not sure if it's correct, but you could verify that. How does it look? Let's go really into the technology behind it. It's just Make. It's just a webhook. That's that thing where you receive data on the internet. It's this one. And from there, you can basically send the data to Slack, get the thread content, save it in a data store. You could use your own SQL. You could even, and that's what we will do, plug in between some DLP, data loss prevention. So we could filter out before people put in credit card numbers, or we could filter against some certain keywords of intellectual property, which we don't want to share with ChatGPT. And here we just send everything to it. That's it. And we're going to use GPT-4 as a model, as we are in the beta program of GPT-4 with this API. We are even able to send 16,000 tokens on the version 4 already. And then we're going to log back the data, and we have finally control about who sent when, what to ChatGPT without paying for the enterprise license. So I want to develop something with you and show you really the ease of use. I built this morning a board, and probably you guys can do that way better than I can do. So now, let's say I get an email and I want to save some information in my Monday board. But before I do this, I'm going to disable this route. So you have the flexibility and you can really see it's easy to use. Let's say I get an email from make.com or whatever. As we have the challenge that if you request our website via service, it won't work because we have some security on our website. I like to use Apple because Apple does not have HTTP request security. I don't know why, but they don't. So I'm gonna just replace it. Good, so let me send myself an email. And let's say this email is about a customer case. Sounds like real world. I have an issue. My flight was on time. Because my flight was on time, I booked my train 2 hours later and now I have to wait because of Deutsche Bahn. If you ever came to Germany, don't travel with Deutsche Bahn. I can tell you. That's my dad joke for the day. That's my dad joke for today. Hello, my flight was too early. Now I have to wait for DB, we call them. Can you refund me? Cheers. Totally legit. Yeah. So now I go back to my scenario and I want to answer this customer. Let's say I want to solve his issue. That's what right now probably every tech company around the world tries to do, automate their support. I can tell you later on, good reason to chat with me how we automated and not automated our support with AI. Cool, here is my email I just received, and as this is that one. Okay, cool. Let's see if this is still valid. That should work. Okay, so what we're gonna do is now I'm complaining at Apple that my flight was too early and now I have to wait 2 hours. Whatever, it doesn't make sense, but it will still work. So let's run it once. I'm gonna take in the email, gonna go on the website of Apple, downloading their HTML content, sending everything to ChatGPT as we say the website is public available. And if we purchase an enterprise license there at OpenAI, we are able to process, of course, also internal information with the DPA. And once this is processed and we know the value proposition of Apple, we can automatically answer and write a message back. If we had to code this or integrate this, it would take hours. And we always have to reset the Google Auth, etc. And we have to keep track of it. In the meantime, while it's loading, let's say we want to keep track of that in Monday. Now we also want to answer in one automation. We can also just plug in Monday and save this and store it in here. Super easy to do. So let's go back to my scenario. Now I got my email. Okay, cool. I should have now an email to myself. Now, of course, I translated it into Spanish. It's always a fun fact, yeah. But I think for the demo purpose, it showed what we did, right? Who's good at Spanish? We can chat later on and translate it back. Yeah, so for the demo purpose, you can automatically answer based on the context you received the support email. Now, let's deactivate this one because I don't want to waste your time. Let's kick out OpenAI here and let's just activate this one. And you can so simply just change everything in your process. You save it. And now I've been just mapping the content here. I cannot delete that one, but I'm just gonna say like output OpenAI. You can imagine that was the one we had previously. So now, save this one. Gonna go back in time again. I'm not gonna use the Spanish email I should have here now. And we can just send the data to monday.com. Let's see what happens. And there we go. Here's my flight, which was too early. Here's my website and all of this. So of course now I could say, please identify me which department this belongs to. Please start another message, etc., etc. This is what I wanted to show you and to demo you how flexible it is to change, plug in AI and things like that. Cool. Okay. So let's wrap it up. What we saw right now. This is like the classical world. me saying, I would like to automate that process. I can define my process. But as you just have seen, I might change my process because I might not need the AI model anymore. I just want to plug in the email. Okay, then I have a problem because I have to go to him and say, well, can you kick out the AI? Can you just delete that? And of course, it becomes tedious. It's hard to do inside a company, of course, an enterprise. Yeah? But if you can do all yourself and you have an expert at your side that can, of course, help you scaling it up, but you can do your automations and you can do your integrations toward a project management tool or CRM, that's just amazing. It gives you superpowers and you can just save so much time. It's just average numbers, but just imagine how much time you can save by just automating this list. It should still run. In the meantime, I was doing a talk and now the sheet is full. And you can save this by using integrations with Make and Monday. Thanks for listening.